Yeah, let's start that over. Let us.
I was like, whoa.
Good evening. Our names are Teresa Erbrick.
I'm Destiny Jordan.
And I'm Miguel Strickland.
We are presenting chapter 11 in our class tonight. It's education that is multicultural, diversity and curriculum. And we're going to do a professional development session. In other words, project 3.
And so our professional development session agenda looks like this. The timing just kind of depends on when you want to do it, the time of the year you do it. We kind of chose to do it as the beginning professional development session, or one of the beginning professional development sessions, right when we're coming back into school. And so we start out with the welcome introduction, then move into the activity icebreaker, the TED Talks, go to the group discussion, the activity that we'll get into a little bit more detail in just a second, another activity that goes into the jigsaw, and then we do a really fun game, and then we do an evaluation at the end. And so the welcome starts at 9 o'clock and goes through 9:15. Essentially, the welcome is kind of, hey, everybody, welcome back. I think we'll do it more toward like an introduction, and then talking about multicultural education and different ways that you can teach that in your classroom.
And Miguel, I think that's a good idea, because any year that I've taught, in the 20 years that I've taught, we've always had new people come in. So if we do this as an opening or one of those first PD sessions, we always have new people. So the fact that we can welcome those new people in, or even as my administrations come in, just to welcome us in and just so glad to have you back, or even after this last summer, just we left in such a rush, just to have that welcome and just to feel home, just welcome home, I think is a great thing.
And I also think it's a great opportunity for new teachers as well as other grade levels to get to know each other. A lot of times once school starts, we don't have the opportunity to really work with one another. So as coworkers, I think it's a great opportunity to open up and let those of different grade levels work together and welcome themselves to the teams.
And if I may, before we go to the next slide, I think it also gives you an opportunity to get everybody kind of thinking about the different students that you'll have when they're coming into your classrooms, how to handle, different situations you may not be used to as well. But on to the next part of the PD session, which will be the icebreaker. We chose to do the Guess Who Random Facts game. It's one that I've seen several times through many PD sessions that I've been in, and it just kind of works. It kind of loosens up the room, gets everybody kind of excited, kind of talking, and I think it's pretty fun. So.
Oh, I'm sorry, I popped that over. And it's always interesting to know, because there's always something that you might not know about somebody. But that leads us into our, about 9:30, you're gonna have a TED Talk. And who can say anything wrong about a TED Talk?
I feel like it gets everybody engaged, kind of breaks the monotony. Everybody gets to kind of sit there for just a second, because a lot of people aren't comfortable talking in the PD sessions. So after you have did the introduction and the icebreaker and that good stuff, they get to sit there and kind of maybe help understand what the session is about.
Right. And one of the things, and with this PowerPoint is used by others in our class, we've set it up in a way that they can, the things are hot, all of our goodies are hot linked. So this TED Talk is hot linked here under TED Talk, and it's also hot linked on the picture, because I know as a presenter, sometimes you're like, oh, where's our hot linked? So you want to find it. And we also know that our times are negotiable.
I also like that this TED Talk really talks a lot about the multicultural education. And as administrators, I think that's very important that we open it up. As we all discuss, this would kind of be one of those get back to school type professional development opportunities. And this really would get everyone on the team on the right page of being open to all students in all areas of life.
I agree.
I definitely agree. which leads us into a part that I think was smart on our part. And sorry, I didn't mean to take over, but this is part of PD, and presenting PD is how it works. We gave ourselves 10 minutes to discuss this TED Talk. And Miguel, how do you think as an AP you would roll this part out?
So right after we watch the video and then going into the group discussion, I would like to have kind of a whole group discussion. Just let everybody chime in, without anybody talking over anybody, but letting people kind of express different thoughts or different situations they've been in their own classroom or that they've been around, and just kind of just go from there in ways that if there was a situation that gone wrong, that they could have done something different to try to fix it or rectify it.
Right. And I agree. This is kind of one of those things you can sit back and you can ask yourself, does this really apply to me? Can I do better, by a certain situation someone else may have discussed during this group discussion? And how can I help others maybe understand where the situation could have been fixed and less problems caused?
I definitely agree. And I think we all come to grade level meetings and do what we need to do, and we go back into our little rooms and do whatever. But to be able to have discussions in group situations, it can be profound, and it can open up venues and ways of thinking, because I might not think of something in a certain way, but Destiny may bring it from her personal experience and think of it in a different way. But yet, Miguel, from your experience as an AP from that administrative side, you may think of it in another way. So that is amazing for us to be able to think about it and look at it in different ways. Okay, and next. Maybe next. Okay.
Okay, and so then we go into another activity, which is the give one, get one. And so I think we chose to use the librarian kind of to be the facilitator of it, but I'll let you all talk a little bit more in depth about it.
Well, again, I think give one, get one is something that in AMSTI as a trainer that we used quite a bit. But here's a great way to facilitate. And there's an article in our agenda stuff and in our resources that will support this, is getting a librarian involved and having her utilize and showcase some of the books that she's purchased and has utilized in our libraries, to make those connections multiculturally. So when I think about the Underground Railroad, I think of one perspective. So I might have Grandma Moses, I might have Harriet Tubman, and I think about the Drinking Gourd book, but there's this beautiful book called Moses. Okay, but then I think about Unspoken. It's this beautiful book, the picture book that is no words, it's unspoken, but it's this girl, this Caucasian girl that helps this runaway slave get through, and there's no words whatsoever. I think it's utilizing this give one, get one, and there's a whole wealth of resources out there that we can use and utilize to help our children.
And I also like the activity from the handbook that discuss swapping seats. I think in the give one, get one, it talks about it's so important to reassign students every couple of months a new seat so that they can work together with other students who may not look like them, who may not learn like them, but it's a great way of them bonding and understanding that there's a difference out there, but that we all are the same at the end.
Yes.
Okay, and then next into the jigsaw activity, there's a couple different angles that you can take when you're doing a jigsaw activity. We didn't really just directly settle on one because you can go different routes. So Teresa, you want to talk a little bit more about those?
Yeah, I love jigsaw activity when I'm given an article at a PD that might be multiple pages. And as a teacher, you look at it and you shut down, just like our kids shut down when they're handed this huge piece of text and they're like, no, not going to do it. As teachers, we do the same things. We're like, nope, let's see what's on my phone. Let's see what I can find. No. So if I look at it as a presenter, if I say, okay, so if I have all my ones, I want you guys to read this first section. You guys, the twos read this section, the threes read this section, or this grade level, do this one, do it. Now teach each other. I'm putting that back in the hands of the teacher. I'm making you responsible and I'm making you part of that learning. And I think jigsawing is an important way to divide the work and spread the wealth of learning, because I get so much more out of reading my section and then I'm responsible. Then you go back to and you talk about all the people that read just that section. Okay, what did we get out of this? What did we get out of this? Then I go back to my little happy group and say, okay, in this first part, this is the most important part. Now, what did you get out of 2, 3, and 4? Because I didn't get to read that. And that way you're facilitating and making it quick. You're getting it in our 25 minutes that we have here, and you're making it move quickly, and you're getting a wealth of information very quickly. So you're doing.
And you're also, you're also really engaging the students, as well as you're keeping the teacher involved the whole entire time, keeping the whole activity running, but you're also engaging the students, you know, from, like you said, the 1 level readers to the 4s, and they're having to share information and having to really help each other out to remember parts of it. So I think it's a great engagement activity.
I agree. That leads us to our game time.
Game time.
Everybody loves to play a game. So the Kahoot will be a hot link into this PowerPoint, but it's just a way to incorporate, kind of relearn, play a game with the things that you've learned throughout the whole entire professional development session. You can also throw a random question in there that nobody's expecting, and it's still going to be fun with everybody playing this game.
And you can also play individually, or you can make it fun and play it as a group. So I know the way we incorporate it at our school is a lot of times we, you know, try to set classrooms up together and play against each other, or have groups in the classroom play against one another. And the students are very engaged, and it makes it a whole fun environment for everyone to learn in.
Most definitely. We played just yesterday and my kids were like, oh, Mr. Burke, play. I played and they were like, we don't want you to play anymore. Which was fine. I'm like, but I got some wrong. They were like, that doesn't count. You're too smart. And I was like, well, we need to do some work on national landmarks, friends. But I think everybody likes a game, and you can make this your own. You can make it to represent your faculty, your feeder pattern, your school. You can make it to represent your students, your test data, whatever you want it to be, whether it be in this session or ultimately other sessions. You can really utilize this. How fun would it be if you polled your teachers before the first day and you created sessions? Just like questions. Obviously, that's really not this session, but you know. Okay. So that leads us to
the session evaluation. So it gives an opportunity for the participants to give you some feedback, and then hopefully the positive feedback and negative feedback, you can take it into any more sessions moving forward and incorporate different things and maybe move some stuff around to please your crowd.
And once again, this is hot LinkedIn. I'm sorry, Destiny, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go.
No, you go ahead and talk about the hot link and I'll add on.
No, this is hot LinkedIn. And I think Miguel, Destiny, and I are all trying to like make this a little upbeat and fun. And I think if you've sat in PD, the better this goes, the more engaged your presenters can be, the better the PD is. If your PD is dry and your presenters are dry, the drier it is going to be for you. So as a presenter, you want to be engaged. You want to have the movement. So that's kind of where I was, kind of my final thoughts, and I will turn it over to my buddy Destiny.
And it's also an editable form, so anybody can create it. It's very easy to use, but it also does give you the responses back. It does not have to be, no name has to be called or put on it. So they can, of course, give the negative feedback. But I think as a presenter, it's very important that you get that feedback so that you can put it toward your next presentation and make it, better for your crowd.
Yes, definitely. And you could easily click the hot link and go through with your faculty. But I think honestly, it needs to be real data. And again, this will be added into our agenda and our documents that will be available to our teammates. Here are our very luxurious list of references, and my dutiful teammates, do you have anything to say?
No, I had fun doing this activity, just kind of piecing it together. Hopefully, somebody will gain some kind of benefit from the way that we pieced it in and hot link things in, and, you know, make their presentations better.
Very good. Thank you for joining us in our Project 3 presentation, and I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.